Cup has finally burst into life, of course, over in Group A as the Dutchies take control of Group A and now lead the charge over the likes of Ecuador. But what's going to happen as we build up for match number 2? We're going to take a look at it, all of it, next. That's right, folks. Bubbles here with another match review, of course. Take a look back at the games over in Group A. Who's in command? Who's going to go home? We'll take a look at it, all of it in a second. Of course, people shut them up VIPs. They are the patrons. You know who you are. Your one-stop shop for World Cup content is right here, guys and girls. So let's get into it and revisit these games. Of course, we'll take a look at both games over in Group A and kind of give you a cleaned-up summary right here as we, of course, look forward to match day number 2. Now, of course, first game of the World Cup. The first game, of course, over in Group A was this one against Qatar against Ecuador over, of course, that was on Sunday night, evening, wherever you were in the world, of course, and it was a 2-0 win for Ecuador. It was a bit of a realisation moment for most of us because we didn't know what Qatar were like. Well, we now know what they're like, and they are not ready for this World Cup, both constructively, like the constructions, the setup, the just everything around it seems a bit shoddy from my point of view, but also on the pitch. They were not in this game, despite some of the stats kind of flattering them a little bit. Yeah, 2-0, job done, Ecuador. Already 3 points in the bag, and of course, one step closer, a tippy-toe closer to, of course, the next round. But of course, their second game will be much more important than this one. This was, of course, the game that they couldn't lose, and of course, they didn't. So now Ecuador are stepping a little bit closer. Qatar stepping a little bit closer to the trap door, the exit door, to be, they of course broke the record as well, to be the first hosts to lose the first game of the World Cup. But anyway, 53% possession for Ecuador, 47% for Qatar, believe it or not. Qatar had 5 shots compared to Ecuador's 6. Of course, but all 5 of their shots were off target. As for Ecuador, 3 of them were off target. 2 of them were in the back of the net. Of course, one was a penalty on the 16th minute. Now, Erner Valencia could have had a hat-trick. He could have had more than a hat-trick, in fact. He had a goal ruled out after 3 minutes from VAR for offside. Now, take that from where you will. It was either was or it wasn't. But regardless, he got his goal. In fact, he got 2. Doubled his tally on the 31st minute to put Ecuador already home and hosed, but at the halftime interval. Excuse me. Moving forward, corners, 3 corners to the 1. But ultimately, this game was over from a contest at halftime. Let's take a look at the teams then, shall we, for this game. Let's take a look, of course, with the hosts first. We had Al-Shahid between sticks, Barawe, Kukiaki, Hassan, Homed Ahmed, Roro, of course, there, Bouadif, Hatem, Al-Haydos, the captain's armband, Afif, of course, and Ali as well. This total value of this team is just 10 million. Now, that puts it into comparison when you look at the Ecuadorian side. Meanwhile, the bench, we did see some guys coming on from the bench, Mohamed Wad and Mohamed Mutari as well. Just a couple of changes, but ultimately, no good. In fact, the bench is way less. There's much more players on the bench than there is on the pitch. But anyway, kicking off forward to the Ecuadorians now. Of course, 104 million euro value. That's 10 times the value of the starting 11 for Qatar. But of course, they had Galindes between sticks. Hincape, 22 million pound rated, plays at Bayern Leverkusen. And of course, Felix Torres, 6 million pounds. I think he plays over in Mexico. Purvis Esteban plays, of course, at a left back at Brighton. 20 million pound rated. Presedo, of course, over in Ghent, maybe. Correct me if I'm wrong. 3.2 million pound rated. Jensen Mendes, Casado again from Brighton, 38 million pounds euros. Ibarra as well. Plataf again from I think he's playing out in Mallorca. Estrada up top and at Valencia, even at 33 years of age, still valued at 3 million pounds. The bench for Ecuador valued at 42 million euros. We did see Cuefentes from LA Galaxy, Alan Franco coming in there, Jerry Mesaramito, of course, a very much Brighton influenced team here. Of course, take a look at, of course, the match ratings then for these bad boys. Of course, the man of the match for, on a Qatari point of view, was Hassan Al-Haydos with a 6.8. As for the man of the match for the whole team or the whole match, was of course Erner Valencia with a couple of goals, and he could have added even more. Some good standout performances as well from Angel Presedo with a 7.9, and as you see from the bottom there, the where the graphics, of course, the events took place. Take a look at the heat maps. This is the Qatari heat map. A lot of green, but nothing in the final third here. That's, of course, where the game is won and lost, really, because if you look at the opposition, Ecuador, a lot of possession here in the defensive third. That's keeping the ball, but moving forward, they did at least penetrate a little bit, somewhat, to cause some problems as well. Let's take a look at the other game over in Group A now. Of course, it was the Senegalese up against the Dutchlands. That's right, 2-0 it was in the end. But this time, it was the last 6 minutes of the match that turned around. When I say last 6 minutes, I mean last 16 minutes, because of the amazing amount of stoppage time given. 47% possession for Senegal, 53% possession for the Dutchies. Of course, 15 shots for Senegal. A little bit hard done. It is a bitter pill to take, because I thought they were at least equal to the Dutch in this one, but one goal quickly led to 2 goals. And it was game over, really. 7 shots off target from that 15. They had 6 corners compared to the Dutchies 7. Of course, the Dutchies had, 10 shots and 4 of them off target, 2 of them in the back of the net. 53% possession for the Dutchies, 47% go in favour of Senegal. But the goals come from Cody Gakpo, 84th minute header, David Klaassen as well, 9 minutes of stoppage time. So the bitter brink of this game, as Senegal were left chasing. Let's take a look at the teams then. Of course, £146 million rated. That is actually much more value than both the Qatar and the Ecuadorian team combined. Of course, Edward Mendy between the sticks. We got Koulibaly as well at the back. Pape Abou Cisse, Abu Dallo as well. Into midfield, we got actually right back Youssef Sabli from Real Betis. Mendy, of course, in the midfield alongside Kouyaté, who was stretching off. Just a Gay as well. Ismail Sarr, Diatta, very handy forward, and Boulaye Day from Salernitana, I think, over in Serie A. Let's take a look at the bench then, shall we? We did see quite a few changes. Ishmael Jacobs coming on there, Papa Gay, Nicholas Jackson, and Bamba Dieng. Of course, £83 million rated on the bench. No matey boy, where is he, from Sheffield United? Iliman Ndiaye. I was hoping to see him in action, but not today. Meanwhile, of course, the opposition, the Dutchies, £328 million rated. That's more than the Senegalese, the Qatari, and the Ecuadorian teams combined. That's right. Of course, a monster of value. We had Andres Nuba between the sticks. £20 million rated. Nathan Ake, of course. Matthias de Ligt, Virgil van Dijk, Daley Blind, Denzel Dumfries, Steven Bourgeois, Frankie de Jong, Cody Gakpo, Steven Bergwijn, Vinny Janssen as well. Let's take a look, of course. The substitutions, €259 million rated. We did see the likes of Cooper Miners coming on there. Martin de Roon, 31 years of old now. David Klaassen, 29 years old. Has been around a while. And Memphis Depay came on, valued at €20 million. Let's take a little look then, shall we, of course, the teams and the stats and the man of the match ratings. Ismail Sarr with a 7.2 is up there alongside Youssef Sabli as the man of the match for a Senegalese point of view. As for the man of the match for the game, Frankie de Jong with a 7.7, but Cody Gakpo, there's a 7.8. He is your man of the match behind Andres Nuba with an 8. Well done, well done. We've also got the heat maps right here, of course. Senegal on the left hand side, a lot of possession, but mostly down the right hand side. Also the keeper in a lot of action as well. As for the Dutch, pretty much all the blades of grass covered, but of course pushing forward as well. But of course, before we go into what's ahead in this group, let's check back with the fans. Of course, we've got a reaction from, of course, Alejandro from an Ecuadorian point of view from their big win. We've also got, I think, some words of wisdom from Alistair, our Dutch representative, and also we've even got words of wisdom from our Senegalese point of view. So hopefully all of them coming at you right about now.
What a game by Ecuador. I'm so happy for my team. Superman, Ener Valencia, our captain, with the nice brace. Should have been a hat-trick, but next game we go in with our heads up. First team ever to beat the host on the first game. Let's go, Ecuador.
Great win for the Netherlands, 2-0. Obviously, it took to the 84th minute for that first goal. Senegal held out well, and it could have gone either way. Klaassen making that the 2-0 makes it look a lot more comfortable than it actually was. But at the end of the day, kicking off the World Cup with a win, it was always going to be a big thing. On to the next game, and hopefully we keep up this momentum.
Congratulations to Holland for winning their first game against Senegal. We played a fair game today. I would say I'm a bit disappointed because we could have done better. I have predicted one starting 11, and the difference between that one and the one that was put by the coach is different from the midfield. Because the 3 people he put on the midfield, I thought they would not start the game, because we know that if they put that combination in the midfield, there will not gonna be any animation. There's nobody is gonna pass the ball to the strikers, and we struggled with that. So a bit disappointed with the result, because we know that we could have won that game against a team, Holland team, which is not really dangerous. They have been waiting and they used their chances they had, and that was it. So at the end of the day, it was decided in a matter of who's putting it in the nets, and we made 2 mistakes. They capitalized in it. We did not have much in front of goal because, as I said, if the midfield is 3 holding midfielder, we got Ganagay, Kouyaté, and Nampalys Mendy. They all playing the same position in their clubs. You cannot put that combination and expect anything. We have tried it before. It did not work. We need someone who is giving the ball to the strikers. That link from the midfield to the strikers. That's what we need. And really, we do not have that. Someone like Papgay, if he start the game, he can do that. If you have someone like Iliman Jai, he can do that. But 3 holding midfielders, they're going to block the opponent, but they're not going to create anything. And that's exactly what happened. So a bit disappointed, and hope the next game against Qatar will be the good one. We'll be winning that one, and hoping as well to win against Ecuador to qualify for the group stage. All right, thank you.
Meanwhile, what's ahead over in Group A? Of course, we do have the next round of games coming out on Black Friday. Will it be Black Friday for Qatar, or will it be Black Friday for Senegal? Both sides coming into this with defeats, looking for a win here. Now, a win will not eliminate the other side, I do believe. A draw would probably keep them in it, but only just, of course. So Qatar against Senegal. It's the earlier game in Group A, of course, and then the Dutch take on Ecuador. Both sides with wins, looking to secure their deal. Now, a draw between Qatar and Senegal would then give the likes of the Dutch or the Ecuadorians a chance to confirm their spot in the knockout stages with a win over each other as well. And they'll wrap up the streak, of course, on the Tuesday 29th of November. We'll be back before that, of course. And the table looks like that. The Dutchies over Ecuador at that moment. Senegal, of course, in third, and Qatar are last. Well, there you have it, folks. There you bloody have it. My short, sharp reaction, of course, review, of course, to the opening games over in Group A. So far, so good for the Dutch, and so far, so good for Ecuador. But what's going to happen when they lock horns? We'll have, of course, a preview for the game, and, of course, hopefully we'll do a watch-along. We'll see how things are later on in the week. But until then, guys, subscribe, thumbs up, hit the little bell. We go again, of course, with non-stop content right here at Blackburn Overseas.